on the main line, and then maybe we'll get you all singing this bright light of mine. But let's just see how it falls, yes? Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Because the band sounds anointed this morning. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on speed. Are you singing out there? Every voice in the room, yes, yes. Stayed on his own, this bright light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. realize this microphone is very hot and I have a very big voice. As we come together for our invocation, I'm going to ask Simon to continue to ground the room with the piano. I'm just so grateful, so honored to be the one to speak a word this morning, to be blessed with the opportunity to acknowledge the present moment. Because I know that there's only one life, and that life is God, and that life is good, and that life is my life right now, and it's the life of everyone within the sound of my voice. We made the decision right here, right now, to know that we've come together to be in community, to raise the vibration of love within. So I'm declaring right here, right now, that this is a divine appointment, that all that transpires from this moment on is blessed, is divinely guided. I bless all the activities of this day. Reverend Dereca, production assistant, the hospitality, the greeters, the AV team, the praise team, the musicians, every place where truth is being taught right now. I just bless it because my word is power unto the law. So in this yes right here, right now, I release this word into law knowing that it's done well. As I'm honored and blessed to speak a word of encouragement, I release this word into law. And together, we anchor this by saying, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are. So my name is Reverend Michelle Jordan, sometimes Reverend Queen Michelle Jordan. I named myself Queen Michelle when I married myself back in 1990, 2004 perhaps it was, so I could act right. It's a work in progress, although I know that God is my source and my supply. I'm going to ask the musicians to begin the introduction for this next song, where I am honored and blessed to bring to the community my sister friend, Indy B. She'll be blessing us with this song, Encourage Yourself. And then you'll hear from her again singing the 23rd Psalm in the style of Bobby McFerrin. Also on bass, we have Dave Daniel. We have on drums, Martin Trousseau. We have on piano and keyboard, Simon Russell. And today's praise team.
Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. And sometimes you have to speak victory during the test.
long. NDB, NDB. She has merchandise in the foyer after service. I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged. You feeling encouraged today, East Bay? I mean, y'all better come on with the Metacostal. Lord have mercy. I don't even know if I'm encouraged. And you need to know I needed to be encouraged today. I don't know about you, but I needed to be encouraged. I'm already encouraged. Reverend used to say, well, we can go home right now. The word has already been spoken. I feel the Holy Ghost has already been moving through. I done seen it already, transformation, some tears, some healing. I want to give thanks for our music ministry. I want to acknowledge that we had Martin Trousseau here on drums. We had Simon Russell on piano. We had a new bass player sitting in today, Dave Daniel. He's left the stage. We'll hear more from him later. Welcome, Dave. We had Reverend Queen Michelle joining our music minister. She just spontaneously creates these ensembles that are just going to come. So our choir just shows up and says, oh, okay, I'll sing again. And so I just want to thank all of you who show up and just say, I'm here. What we singing? I'm here. What we singing? And Miss Indy B. Miss Beverly Freeman. Yeah, we're going to know all your names. Because really, you spoke a word. That's a whole sermon. And if you know our sister's story, whether you know her old story, her more recent story, or her this morning story, you know that every bit of that was a testimony. And so I appreciate you for your courage and your willingness to just let Spirit speak. Because we come here, y'all think we come here because we love this. We come here because we have to. Because Spirit won't leave us alone. I was perfectly fine out there in the Caribbean. It won't leave me alone. I felt like a little cough, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it there. And it was like, girl, quit playing. Quit playing. And I told NDB when we were talking this morning and she was going through what she was going through, I said, I just want you to know I'm going through the same thing. And Reverend Queen Michelle go through the same thing almost every Sunday. We go through this all the time. It's what we do. And we show up anyway. See, you got an idea in your head that people are showing up because they qualify. That they're showing up because they qualify. That's not why. Because God don't call to qualify. That's not who God calls. God qualifies the called. So if you got a call, that's your qualifications right there. You know you got a call. I understand. I ran in the wilderness like a biblical character. I did. If you're willing and comfortable, please stand so that we can do our affirmational prayer. Together, God is the only power in my life. Nothing from without can touch the perfect life of God within me. No past experience has power over me. I am a perfect child of God, and nothing that anyone has ever done or said can interfere with my divine inheritance.
and birthright. The power of God is greater than any circumstance in my life. The strength of God is mine to use. Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy, I discover that all that I need is within me right now. When? Right now. When? Right now. Not later. Not when you become deserving. Not when you find the right partner. Not when you get your new place or your new job or your new degree or your new body. Right now. As I forgive the past, I find that I have nothing to atone for and nothing to run away from. Casting off the old me, I discover my true self. Hold on one second. I just want to thank Nikki Thomas put this slide together for us. And I love that my true self is like really big letters. Because when you cast off that little old me, you discover your true self is big. It's bigger than anybody ever told you you could or should be. Casting off the old me, I discover my true self. I take dominion in my life. Old habits have no power over me. Conditions have no power over me. Personalities have no power over me. I take dominion. I am whole. I am free. I am complete. Now and forevermore. And so it is. Yes. And now we're going to do it together in unison in Spanish. I'm really grateful to have my Ursula here, who is going to lead us. But also, I want to just take a moment to acknowledge her work and the work of the entire Spanish ministry team. You'll see this in our announcements, but we will be having live in-person Spanish ministry service next Sunday at 1 o'clock. So after service, we have our in-person in Spanish service. We'll resume in person on the third Sunday. So next Sunday, we'll have that at 1 o'clock. We also, Myra and folks have been working on making sure we have rights cards for our family that has been facing the threat of deportation. So East Bay will have these, and on March 1st, we will have lawyers present here at East Bay as a resource to the broader community. Thank you to Myra, who put that together for us.
And thank you to all the ministers. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Vamos a repetirlo en español. Dios es el único poder en mi vida. Nada de afuera puede tocar la vida perfecta de Dios adentro de mí. Ninguna experiencia pasada tiene poder sobre mí. Soy un niño perfecto de Dios y nada que cualquiera haya hecho o dicho puede intervenir con mi herencia divina. El poder de Dios es más fuerte que cualquier circunstancia en mi vida. La fuerza de Dios es mía para utilizar, olvidando los sentimientos de insuficiencia. Yo descubro todo lo que necesito está dentro de mí en este momento. Cuando perdono el pasado, encuentro que no tengo nada para espiar o escapar. Olvidando mi antigua persona, yo descubro mi verdadera persona. Yo tomo dominio en mi vida. Los hábitos antiguos no tienen poder sobre mí. Las condiciones no tienen poder sobre mí. Yo tomo dominio. Soy entero. Soy libre. Soy completa. Ahora y para siempre. Es así. Sí, sí. If anybody knows somebody speaks Spanish and is afraid like I am, we had the car, so meet me at the door. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to acknowledge the vision that Reverend E had to make sure, that when we started doing the God is the Only Power in Spanish, there were people who were like, oh, okay, we're gonna do that. How often are we gonna do that? When are we gonna do that? Why are we doing that again? And for such a time as this, we've been knowing that we wanted to be a community that were inclusive before they tried to ban the word. That's the I in DEI is inclusion. Dig that. We against diversity, equity, and inclusion, huh? That's what's illegal? That's all right. It's all right. Because you can't change what's in our hearts. And we are going to continue to show up to say this is our family. We are one church, ever expanding what it means to practice that oneness. And as we continue to find ways to open the doors of our community, everyone will see that we see this as a home for everyone. Yes? I think I skipped the part where I was going to introduce myself. My name is Reverend Dereca Blackmon, and I am the senior minister here at the East Bay Church of Religious Science. Thank you. I use she or they gender pronouns, and I always like to tell you what my pronouns are because you can't tell what people's pronouns are by looking at them, because there is a spectrum of gender, and people make decisions for themselves about where they fall in, around, or outside of the spectrum that we have set up for them. I'm just going to take a moment because it don't have to be Pride Month for me to tell you. Gender behaviors are taught. Somebody told you what it is to be a girl or a boy. Some people have decided to reject those taught behaviors and to identify with what their spirit says about who they are. Oh, y'all remember when some people decided that their spirit could tell them who to love, right? Oh, y'all remember that? You remember the resistance to that. Some of you remember a time when spirit couldn't do that. Now, somebody else that you might be like, okay, that was enough. We stretched. We changed our idea of, okay, partners. We got partners now, Reverend Dereca. We all right now, right? Now you got to stretch some more. Stretch some more. Because when we talk about inclusion, see, some of us, we've had some marginalized identities. I've been low income and black and queer and a bunch of other stuff. And then somebody told me I was cisgendered. And I was like, cisgender? What is that? I got privilege? I got a privileged identity, cisgendered. And it meant that my sex assigned at birth matched my gender identity. The way I feel I am matched what the doctor said I was. That's what that is, right? And there's some other folks who didn't have that experience. That what the doctor said they was doesn't match who they feel they are. Is that complicated? Is it complicated? I don't think it's complicated. I think it's uncomfortable, but that's my job. Afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted. So on behalf of the afflicted, if I'm making you a little uncomfortable, good job. Do you understand? All of us had something where we wanted somebody who didn't have our identity to understand our neurodivergence, our disability, our age, our socioeconomic class. We had something where we wanted somebody who didn't have the same position as us to just have some compassion for that we understand what our own lived experience is. That's all folks are saying. And as if this message is reaching anyone in our trans and non-binary family, I hope you take to heart the message of NDB and speak a word over yourself of encouragement right now. Because in this world, we know that the encouragement is not coming as much as it should. But if you can get here, if you can get here in this sanctuary or wherever you are love streaming, just know that you are our family in God, not outside. Don't let nobody put you outside the circle of spirit. Two-spirit nature. Can you believe I didn't know what I was going to talk about today? I mean, I have a whole plan, but then I just felt like something don't feel like that's what it's going to be. And then it just happens. Queen Michelle and I were sitting in the office this morning, and I was like, it's going to be all right. She's like, it's going to be all right. I didn't know what her issue was. She didn't know what mine was, but we could encourage each other because we know the truth. It's going to be all right. And actually, it's going to be kind of great. That's what usually happens if you let go and let God, you know. That's what usually happens. I don't know about y'all, but that's what happens in my life. Which we wanted to, as I'm introducing myself, I wanted to meet you if this is your first time here at the East Bay Church of Religious Science, or you're back and you've been gone for a while. Would you stand? You don't have to say anything. We just want to give you a gift. Just stand so we can encourage and recognize you. So East Bay, just remain standing. A gift is coming to you. There's one right here, Brother Hamid. Yes, Brother Hamid right here. Okay, so, and I think there's one back there too. Right, fabulous. If you stretch your hands out, East Bay, and do what we know we do. Welcome to East Bay. Welcome to East Bay. The God in us recognizes the God in you. We see you. We know who you are. You are a unique expression of the divine. Welcome home. So, this month we are reading, you know what? I'm going to just not even tell a lie because it's going to be longer than this month. We are reading What It Takes to Heal by Prentice Hemphill. The subtitle of this book is How Transforming Ourselves Can Change the World. Now, y'all know when I get into a book, I'm going to talk about it a lot. Y'all remember the 4 pivots. Some of y'all like, Reverend Dereca, I was feeling it, but, you know, it's not, I couldn't really get into it all the way. It's okay. We'll come back to that eventually, too. But this one right here, I'm going to just tell the truth because I like telling the truth to y'all because I know, unfortunately, it's not a thing that always happens up in the pulpit. I haven't even finished the whole book. You're welcome. But most of the reason I haven't finished the whole book is because I keep rereading every part it is wearing me out. It is wearing me out because if you're going to read a book called What It Takes to Heal, oh, now you get it. If you're going to read a book around what it takes to heal, it's going to deal with what needs to be healed. And as a person who practices sacred activism, there was some stuff from my organizing days that needed to be healed. And as a person who invokes our community to practice in that way, this book is getting right down into the nitty-gritty of what we need to heal. Because I've been saying this thing, you know that thing where they say, careful what you wish for? I've been saying this thing about we're not building a church, we're building a movement. So you're going to need a movement guide like this. You know, healing justice is what this book is about. Has anybody read it? Okay, I'm reading it. Okay, I got 3 or 4, okay, 5 that have read it. So on Wednesday, we're having talk back. And so I want you to come with your questions or passages, what excites you about it, so that we can actually talk about it. Because what I'd like is for the series that could last months on this book to include what you're most interested in, what your questions are. And some of your questions I already know, so we're going to get to some of that today. The book is called What It Takes to Heal, and it's by Prentice Hemphill. What It Takes to Heal, yes. Okay, so it is in our bookstore. While copies last. So Prentice Hemphill is a therapist, and also was one of the leaders and senior trainers in the Black Lives Matter movement. And so did a lot of work training organizations and chapters and activists around the country and the world around this concept of healing justice. And why this book is so particularly relevant is it talks about the unhealed spaces, good morning, the unhealed spaces in ourselves, in our families, and in our communities, read churches, that lead to perpetuating trauma. The trauma that we have, we recreate with each other. Yeah. And so if you have some questions about how things run at churches, James Glenn already told you, a church is a hospital. So you got some feedback around how things run around here. You might want to know that what you're walking into is a healing space. Reverend E said to me, if you call yourself a healer, who you think gonna come? So while, you know, I might paraphrase JFK and say, instead of asking what your church ought to be doing, ask what you could do to make it the church you want. And I'm so grateful because when I look around this room, I see thousands of hours of service. But I also see a few folks who've been carrying an undue share of the burden, who deserve an opportunity to have a Sunday off. And service is such sacred savor, right? Sacred service, right? There's service, which many of us do. A lot of, Reverend E, I'm Reverend Dereca, I'm out here. I call myself Reverend E. Reverend Dereca, I'm out here in the world. I do service here and there and there. But there's something about doing it in a spiritual community where you don't have to pretend like it's not spiritual what you're doing. Like I do, I've always done ministry. Every job I've ever had has been a ministry. I feel really blessed about that. So we minister in our workplaces, many of us. But when you can do it unapologetically, I've always been unapologetically Black, but now I get to be unapologetically spiritual. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is what we want in the kind of service that we do. And when we do spiritual service from a spiritual place, it's called savor. S-E-V-A. It has a different quality to it. We're not doing charity work, right? We're not going to have the mission, no shame to the mission, that's going to convert them to what we believe. We're not doing that. And that's why I want us to read this book together, because I want us to get in touch with what it's going to take for us to be well-ish, because it's a journey, not a destination, right? As we go out and do the work we're doing in the world. Because otherwise, we open up the doors of the church, and people come in and we mistreat them. Ask me how I know. Right? That's why it's hard for me to even open the book right now, because the testimony, the passages I want you to want to read about who need to be healed are all talking about me. Lord. Okay, here we go. So the first chapter of the book is on vision, and we talk about vision here a lot, and so I definitely want you to read that, but Spirit said for today, we're going to focus on this chapter called Heal. It starts with a quote from James Baldwin that you may be very familiar with. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. I'm going to say that again. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. That's James Baldwin from As Much Truth as One Can Bear. So let's just start right there. Because a lot of times how many people in here can confess to having been a workaholic? Look around. Wait, hands up. Okay, if you ever wondered what the problem with capitalism is, that's it right there. That is capitalism is a consciousness that says our worth is related to our work, right? And it actually interferes with our process of being real and present with each other and our spirit. So as you're getting mad at the millennials who don't want to work themselves to death for nothing and a pension, get over it. That is a spiritual evolution. They watched you work yourself to death and not be present with them or your own self. And they're like, I ain't doing that. Not for $1, not for a company that in the end is going to rob me of my pension. Not for a Social Security that ain't coming. No, thank you. Not for a planet that is about to be destroyed by the company that I work for. No, thank you. That is spiritual evolution. Uh-oh. Now, I told you I didn't really want to open this book up because then I was going to have to talk about myself. So there are a few people who have worked for me that are like, oh, I know you're not talking about nobody not working themselves to death. You ain't got to laugh that loud. We all going to heal in this. Because this church is run by workaholics. I ain't speaking for Reverend Arlene per se, but I'm saying for me, I'm just saying we all gonna do this together. She gonna come out the back like, what did you just say about me? Yes, what it takes to heal. Yes. So, right. No, it's Prentice Hemphill. The quote is on page, I'm sorry, the twins are here. Page 22, the quote is on, and it's from James Baldwin's As Much Truth as One Can Bear. That's where the quote was from. Let me actually just get to another place here. This is the piece that caught me around social change. She says, healing and social change are not, in fact, unrelated. To pry them apart is to exacerbate the issue.
They are inextricably linked, braided together, interdependent processes of transformation. To ask if we can heal at the same time that we engage social change, to me, is like asking if we can love at the same time we make change, if we can make music or eat food. How could our personal development ever truly be at odds with social transformation? How could it happen without it? And yet, this was the way so many of us thought, that we had to separate healing and social change. She tells the story of how her social change community was like, oh, you're not becoming one of them touchy-feely people, are you? So many of the activists that I know, when we got into the work, the struggle, the fight, the movement, what do? We ignored every single sign in our body that we were not well. I might just be talking to myself. Some of us, it's the movement we were working for. Some of it is the grind, it's the paycheck, it's the keeping up with the Joneses. I don't know what your story is, but I know that this work ourselves to death culture is rooted in running. Running from the pain that we feel of not enoughness. That is the only thing that will make you work yourself to death, that will make you miss the life that is happening right now for a life that seems to never get here, no matter how fast you run on the treadmill. One of the blessings of my life is that I have spent some time around really, 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 really rich people. I'm talking billionaires. Yes, who I know by name. And let me assure you, money cannot buy you happiness or love. And I've watched people try. And I got a little bit of money, and I tried too. But I'm so grateful from where I came from, because I'm going to tell you something. It's Black History Month, and we got some absolute insanity going on in this country right now. And I am not going to tell you that because it's been rough before we got this, but I do believe that's true. We're going to have to heal from the trauma of the roughness that we went through 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 400 years ago, 1,000 years ago. We got some trauma. And being Black and a woman and queer and coming from a low-income background, I can speak to you about that. But we also got some joy, some strategy, some music, some art, some divination, some religion, some spirituality that we pull from. Because we don't just have post-traumatic slave disorder. We also have the resilience, the joy, the brilliance, the excellence, the spiritual fortitude. That is the story of how we got over, right? How we maintained and still managed to be so shiny and fly while we did it. It's like, wow, how is that possible? Who does that? What? It's just unbelievable. Black people are unbelievable. And I just want to say, I've said to you, and if you're new, you were like, okay, wait, well, now what's going on? I thought we was doing inclusive, and now we doing Black people are wonderful. That is the problem, is that we think we got to have one or the other. Somebody told us we were supposed to have a melting pot where you just erase my Blackness. Oh, no. You better get that mosaic gumbo jambalaya together where all my spices are invited to the party, or I'm not coming. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want the fullness of my Blackness. I want full strength. I want your stew to have the full strength of my Blackness in it. You need that. You need that. It's the birthright. So when we're celebrating Black history and we're talking about our healing, we are going to talk about our trauma, right? And it's going to show up. And as we grow, and as you know, if you're noticing, you notice our church is growing more and more multicultural every day. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Because this is what the world is saying is impossible. This room right here. This is what they're saying is impossible. People of different religious backgrounds can't come together. People of different sexual orientations can't come together. People who come from different parts of the country or the world or different races, different skin colors, different nationalities, they can't come together and celebrate. Y'all turn around and look at the camera back there. Everybody turn around. Turn around. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Let the world see what we already know. It feels good. So I said all of that because I want you to understand that I'm going to talk about the trauma that black folks have experienced, but I do not want you to associate that with all that black is. I also don't want you to associate that with all that white is, right? Because trauma is complicated and it's internalized and it's generational. And in order for us to address it, to eradicate it, we first have to face it. We cannot heal it unless we face it. All right. Oh, wait, so we were talking about this being able to walk and chew gum at the same time, see? That we are going to have to do this work around social justice, but we're also going to have to eat food, make music, dance, and have fun. Last week, we had so much fun, right, when we kicked off our mental health and our revel, and I felt a little guilty because I know all the stuff that's going on in people's personal lives and all the stuff that's going on in our nation and our world. It is absolutely terrifying. You look at the news and you're just like, it's hard to even feel. It's intentionally designed that way, It's intentionally designed to give us so much weight. Wait, what? He's taking over the Kennedy Center. What? It's like the little things that come up every day. It's like the climate change, and they're not little things. He's deporting people to Brazil, and they're in chains. What happened? The plane got hot. Like, there's so many different things that happen, and I'm looking at people that are like, I didn't hear that one. That's how fast it's coming, right? And this is all an attempt to keep us from having the kind of spiritual confidence and joy and unity and clarity and vision that it takes to heal, because that power has always been what changed everything. Coming from that power of vision. Do you understand? Dr. King did not talk about getting off the back of the bus. He was not responding and reacting to every single thing that happened. The vision was black children and white children holding hands. That's what we're doing here at East Bay. There was a vision that was bigger than the moment and the onslaught. Yes, they had the bus boycott, but that was not the goal, was to sit down on the front of the bus. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than this moment. The old world is panicking. Because Black Lives Matter was the biggest movement in the history of this country. This is all a reaction. They're in reaction mode. And let me tell you something else. That bad behavior that's going on in the halls of Washington, they're going to be fighting with each other in count it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Ask me how I know. I worked in Silicon Valley. I was having a conversation. Listen, see, Spirit is just like, I don't even know if we're going to get to the book today. I'm about to tell y'all some real stuff. A friend of mine from Detroit came to work in Silicon Valley, and he does automotive engineering. And he was working for the Silicon Valley company for like 6 months, and they were not making anything. He was like, we have hundreds of millions of dollars, and we don't make anything. We sit around and talk about what we might make. And then we go, no, that's not a good idea. And he goes, and there are a lot of us, and we have all this money, and we sit around and think about what we might make. I want you to just see that, we do not give ourselves permission to imagine, to think well beyond the moment, to say there is a whole other way this thing could turn out. Did I tell y'all about my little AI positivity fantasy? Did we talk about that? Yes, okay, so I had the AI, for y'all who missed it, I have this AI positivity fantasy that the AI is actually gonna like practice justice. It's actually gonna go, oh, okay, yeah, this is this hiring is unfair, and these people are not getting paid the same, and it's gonna correct all the bad systems, and so that when AI takes over, we're gonna have justice, okay? So yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Make up some stuff. Make up some positive stuff that could encourage yourself. That's what we're doing, because I'm telling you, that's what they were doing. So he's sitting there, he's like, we don't make anything. They don't make anything. And yet, hundreds of millions of billions of dollars were going to people who had put something scratched on the back of an envelope, but they just went to the same college as the person who had the hundreds of millions of dollars. You understand what I'm talking about? Meanwhile, I had another friend who's an intermediary who is there supposed to help an organization that's grassroots out of the South get some money, and she's trying to coach them on all the things that people might need from them and all the expectations that they might have and how their I's need to be dotted and their T's need to be crossed. And Prentice Hill talks about this, the ways in which we've been taught that black folks got to be twice as good, and even that's not going to be enough, right? So she's coaching them, and inadvertently, my observation is that she's teaching them this inequity, that we have to be perfect. And that's how we treat ourselves. Like anything less than perfect means we're unworthy. That's the research about even like a job application. That if a job application has 10 qualifications on it, that people with privilege, a cis straight white man is going to look at it and be like, oh, I've got 2 of those, so I'm qualified for the job. And a woman of color is going to look at it and go, oh, I don't have 2 of those, so I'm not qualified for the job. That's what the research tells us, right? This is the internalized bias. So what we are healing is what this whole philosophy has been about the whole time. It's the way we think. Because I said to my friend who's the intermediary, I said, let me tell you something. I know you think you're trying to help those people, but that is not the way it works in Silicon Valley. People get hookups and let me tell you what the motto is in half of Silicon Valley. Fail fast. Y'all don't know that? That's the motto. The people who know, they over here nodding. That's the motto. That's the kind of permission that people with power and privilege give themselves and each other. Let's fail fast. Woo! What if we gave ourselves that permission? Let's move it out of the theoretical. What if I fail? Can I fail, East Bay? Ooh. Can the ministry you like fail? Can the teacher who teaches your class fail? What if we gave ourselves some grace around the places where we're making mistakes as we learn, with a whole history of oppression that we're carrying in addition to all the creativity and joy we're trying to bring to a situation? We're carrying the whole history of trauma and oppression and still bringing our creativity, innovation, our heart, our spirit, and our soul when we show up. Give us a break. I taught a class at Stanford on intergroup communication, and one of the things that we did was we had these conversations across race, across gender, socioeconomic status, and sexual orientation also. But during the conversation around race, people break into different groups. I've talked to you about this before, and they come up with anonymous questions for each other. And inevitably, when the black group is sitting in the middle, one of the questions from the white group is always, what can white people do? Always. I've taught this class, 8 times. I took it, all of that. That's one of the questions that always come. And, there was a time where, like, the answer was like, be thoughtful and, just pay attention and, learn about the issues and da-da-da-da. And then over time, the tone, it got a little bit stronger and it was like, stop, da-da-da, this and da-da-da-da. And then there was one class I was in and they were like, cash at me. My reparations. I was like, oh, my gosh. This is a whole other generation I'm not ready for. I was like, cash app you? Is that appropriate? Okay. I mean, I'm learning, all of this stuff. And I'm like, wow, okay. And I just saw that there was differences in the way we think generationally and that people had some creativity and ingenuity and ideas around what equity would look like. And there was this one sister, she actually came to visit me recently, and she said, in the quietest, most beautiful voice possible, she said, just leave us alone. If you would just stop messing with us. She didn't say messing, but you understand. If you would just stop messing with us, we would be fine. That was deep. Now, I understand that there's some discomfort in this conversation. I understand. I just want to stop and have a moment of compassion that there's this weird thing that happens when people start talking about your group like with one brush and you don't feel like you get to be the individual that you are within that group. I understand. That's literally the point we're trying to address, right? And so we don't want to replicate that. But what we haven't done in our work is distinguish the discussion of the institutions and the individuals, right? Racism and, since it's Black History Month and I can be so bold, white supremacy is an institution that impacts all of us and imprisons all of us. And so when I make these calls to action, I'm saying that it's everybody's responsibility to liberate all of us from these boxes. So when she says, just stop messing with us, she means make it stop. Make it stop. Take the actions you need to take to make a more equitable world, which means we got to do the service, the savor. We've got to feed people and educate people and deal with some of the inequities in the ways that it trickles down. But we also got to look at the systems and the policy and get engaged at that level. And we will as a church community. I promise you that. I'm already having the conversations with the policy people who are like, are you ready for a seat at the table? And I'm like, almost, because right now I'm actually just a little bit tired. But Reverend used to always say when she come to church on Sunday, she ain't tired no more. I have to say, although it feels like I have worked every day for the last 500 years, I have had the most amazing weekend. Because Friday night, we had Revel Night Live Mind Healing Edition. And the people who come together to liberate ourselves and each other is the most beautiful, multiracial collective of freed and freeing souls one of the most that I've ever been a part of. And we come together and we sing and we dance and we make sounds, and there is a liberation in that, right? That's part of it. It's showing up in an environment where there isn't a dominant culture. Being comfortable with spaces that you think are Black-led and still feeling like it's okay for you to be there if you're not in the leadership, right? And then yesterday, we had Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. Raise your hand if you came to class yesterday. Look around. Look, we had 32 in our foundation class, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And again, an incredibly beautiful multiracial collective of folks coming together for their personal and ultimately collective liberation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is that there is a way that we show up and the conversation gets uncomfortable because somebody is telling the truth about the systems, and we stay and show up again and again anyway. That is what I am asking of you as we talk about systemic oppression, racism, and white supremacy, is to be uncomfortable and stay anyway. Because we're here for the humanity part, but not at the expense of telling the truth about the inhumanity part. Does that make sense? I'm going to say that again. We're here for the humanity part, but not at the expense of telling the truth about the inhumanity part. That is what is being asked of us at the federal level, and we're not going to do it. We're never going back. We're doubling down on DEI. And we're now going to do JEDI, which is justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. We're taking it to a whole other level. There's so much in this book. I got to read a little bit more. It's calling me back. Not that part. Not today, Spirit, please. Okay, here we go. Aha. Healing or care is still essential for, I'm going to go to the part where she talks about her definition of healing. Actually, let's go here. Okay, this is part of it. We'll start here. Healing or care is still essential for guiding the how of what we build, the visions for the world, and is the principle for how we navigate the challenges therein. This is especially important to know because we can mean well, be committed, have a vision for change that inspires, but if we are not actively and intentionally attending to our own healing or practicing a healing ethic, we unnecessarily limit what it is that we can do. Our energy is most potent when we make room for our grief and our anger, and when we allow ourselves to feel, our direction becomes clearer. We cannot ignore our wounds. We cannot ignore our wounds. Nor can we work over or through them, nor mine them for energy. I'm going to say that whole thing again. Yeah, find yourself here if you find yourself here. We cannot ignore our wounds, nor can we work over or through them, nor mine them for energy. Instead, it's through an orientation toward healing and repairing for ourselves and others that we recover our capacity for feeling, for relationship, and with that, the ability to strengthen our bonds and work together. East Bay, we have wounds as a church. We have wounds. Let me see if we can do something real brave. Raise your hand if you've been wounded at East Bay. Look around. Look around. And know that for each one of us that has our hands raised, some of us have been the ones doing the wounding. So for those of you who are new or excited, I'm not trying to get you not excited. I'm just trying to tell you the real work starts now. When we're talking about this radical oneness and moving as one church, it's going to have to start with the healing. So we're going to have more and more opportunities to come together and talk about what it takes to heal, because we have our wounds that we learned in our families, in our workplaces, in our relationships, and in our societies, and we pass them on when you come here to this church. And the good news is And the good news is we're ready to face it. Because we can't fix it unless we can face it. We're ready to face it. Y'all ready? So we're going to be building some opportunities for us to come together and talk about the hurt that we've experienced and to work together and be together as one community to heal it. Because we want to recover our capacity for feeling. We want to recover our capacity for relationship. Some of y'all watching at home do not come to church because you don't want to see the person that hurt you. And for some folks, that's me. And I just want to say I'm sorry. I apologize. And I'm not perfect, you know. But I will continue, if you will do it with me, to do better. To do my healing work from the trauma that I've been taught in my house and in my society. And if you're willing, let's go on together and figure it out. What does it take to heal? We've been experimenting, thank you so much, with the service and having a song here as we move into prayer and offertory time. And NDB is coming with a opportunity for us. Thank you, Brenda. We could bring the treatment box here. And let this song be just one of those wonderful opportunities we have to integrate our culture, our humanity, our spirituality, and our creativity in prayer.
The Lord is my shepherd. I have all I need.
Yes.
She makes me lie down in green meadows beside the still waters. She will lead. She restores my soul. She rights my wrongs. She leads me in a path of good things and fills my heart with songs. Even though I walk through a dark and dreary land, there is nothing that can shake me. She has said she won't forsake me.
Yes,
I'm in
yes.
her hand. She sets a table before me in the presence of my foes. She anoints my head with oil, and my cup overflows.
Yes, it does. Yes, yes.
Surely. Surely goodness and kindness will follow me all the days of
And in this consciousness that's been so beautifully established, I bless every prayer that's in this box, every prayer that's on every heart in this room. I just seek out the presence, the power, the peace that passes all understanding, that thing that is known by so many names across this universe. People are calling upon the Spirit right now like never before, saying, please be with us, see us, hear our prayer. This thing is my life. It's the truth about who I am, and because there's only one of us, I know it's true for every person in the sound of my voice. Whenever, wherever you hear this message, just know God is all there is. There's nothing else, regardless of what's on the television, regardless of what's in the mail, regardless of what your mama said, regardless of what your ex said about you to your child. It doesn't matter. Because there's nothing else really going on that has any power over any circumstance. The doctor is not the last word. There's nothing that has any power but the power itself. The power will not be defeated. It will not be moved. It will not be measured by our small thinking. The power is loose. It's free. And it's ours. It's ours to use. And so I just declare that God says yes. Yes, a way is being made even now where we can't see, where we have fear when we watch the news in the morning. A way is being made even now. A new timeline, a new portal is opening up that says we come together as people of faith and we vision a new way of what it takes to heal this country forevermore from the dis-ease of racism, sexism, poverty, and capitalism. We heal this country from its obsession with getting more and more and more by the presence of our peace, by the presence of our joy, by the presence of our gratitude, by the presence of our inclusion, diversity, equity, belonging, and justice. We show up also with grace and humility and compassion, even for those that spitefully use us. We show up willing to be made whole, not by our might, not by our fight, not by our intellect, by our surrender. Because in our surrender, Spirit shows us what's ours to do. There's something for you to do. There's something for you to do. And whether it's heal yourself, your body temple, heal your family, heal your relationship, or heal your community, whether it's to transform the society, to work on climate change, or just to fan yourself off. We get to be the only religious science textbook somebody ever reads. How do they know what we believe? How do they know? Because we show it. We demonstrate it. In the way we talk to each other. In the way we think about each other. In the way we treat each other. And the way we treat ourselves like perfect children of God. We encourage ourselves. I'm so grateful for this place, this East Bay Church of Religious Science. I'm so grateful for Reverend Dr. Eloise Oliver and being her student, her teacher, just sitting at her feet and watching her mystic energy. And what she says over and over again, I remind us all today, whatever it is, just put some love on it. Just put some love on it. Whatever it is, put some love on it. And if you don't have some personal capacity for love, put some divine love on it. Put God on the job. Just hand it over, take it to the altar, and leave it there. Put the divine love of God on it and watch what happens. So I release this word to the perfect activity of divine law. Because it's not in all the words that it happens. It's this part right here. The part where I said I let go. The part where I said I release. And I let go and I let the Spirit run my life. I release and I let go and I let the Spirit run my life. Say it together. I release and I let go and I let the Spirit run my life. And so it is. Ashe and amen. Welcome, Carol Johnson Williams, to the pulpit.
Give thanks, give thanks. Thank you, Reverend Dereca Blackmon, for allowing the Spirit to move through you. And move through us. And thank you to all here present, love streaming and in the sanctuary, as we prepare for gracious giving. We have received, yes? And we continue to be one with the flow. As we release, we let it go. And the ushers come forward.
In my life, I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was in hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let go. Let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. You know how it goes. I let the Spirit run my life. Open wide. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. I'm only here for God. No more strife. With my faith I can see the light. I am free, I am free, I am free, I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for
Yes, yes, yes. And we do, let's say our affirmative statement as we bless these gifts and the givers. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. And so it is. Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you for the gifts. And we know that it expands abundantly in and throughout your lives and in and throughout the East Bay community as we continue to give and give. And so in the way of our giving, we also have a number of things that are happening in the community. And so there are many opportunities for us to share. Next week, the men's ministry is having a Men's Day celebration. Yes. And we will have guest speakers here and lots of fun. So if you identify as a male, if you love and care for a male, if you have anything to do with, right? Hey now. The divine masculine energy that lives and moves through each and every one of us. Come on out. Let's celebrate together. And
How
we
you
are
doing? I'm
also in
Chris,
the midst
Christopher
of the-
Hanif, and I'm inviting you to come build, celebrate, connect, bond with us at the Men's Day celebration, February 16th. Not only in the church there for services, but after church. We'll be having a celebration in the fellowship hall. We look forward to seeing you, and that you means everybody, so we can connect, build, and explore ways to expand the men's ministry. Look forward to seeing you there, February 16th.
Give thanks. And we're also in the season for nonviolence. And know that each Wednesday during the Power Hour, we discuss a particular version or affirmation of the season for peace and nonviolence. So come and be with us. And there's a mandala on the website that you can access as well for each and every day. We also have classes, and the 5 gifts for an abundant life, facilitated by our very own Reverend Arlene King, is beginning this Tuesday. So there's time to register and be present. And so we look forward to being together. Now, on February 22nd, Saturday, February 22nd, is our annual Black History Month celebration. Yes, the theme is Afro-environmentalism. So come on through and let's celebrate, remember, and bring it forth together. Yes, the world that we want to see. Also want to share with you, okay, Reverend Dereca has something else to share.
A couple quick things that I want to say. Thank you for all of the seva that is happening. This church is growing tremendously. And from the 12-step program to the healing arts, there's so much happening. So there are more announcements that will be scrolling. But I wanted to just acknowledge a couple of things. Our prayer and care, or pastoral care ministry, is growing. And there have just been so many families in our community that have been just in need of support, and it's just been a wonderful blessing to be a church community supports. I want to acknowledge Malala Hare's family and the fire that her extended family had, and thank everyone from East Bay who has been showing up to support Malala. Thank you. We love you. I also want to acknowledge Fernando Connor, who is Lori's partner, passed and unexpectedly, and thank you to East Bay for showing up for Lori and Laura and their family. And I know there's many more of you, and so just please reach out to us and let us know so that we can pray with you and support you. And I could start with the list, but then I know that I'll forget someone who's Annie and Paul. Annie, who's at home care for Paul. Of course, I'm doing it because I can't as it comes to me. But our prayer and care team actually is growing and could use your support. So that's one of the places, if you would like to be one of those people who makes calls, visits people, supports our families. I saw Rosanna here earlier today, and she's one person you can talk to, and there's others, so we'll make sure that you get that. And then I also had been meaning to give a special shout out and thanks. I want to thank our teen ministry. Wave to the teens in the back, y'all. Thank you for our teen ministry. So Deborah is here. Lauren, who is one of our teachers, is here in the front. Dr. Cynthia is the head of our youth and family. The teens are planning. We're getting ready to have a video gaming night that is being planned. And I just want y'all to know, when they said that the teens wanted that,
they were like, I don't think we should have that. And I was like, we should absolutely be a place where our young people come and have fun. Y'all stop getting on their case all the time about everything they love to do. Sorry. This is why they don't let me do the announcements anymore, because I just looked up and added that. I want to say that we've been pulling together new elements for our service and a service flow, and in order to do that, we implemented a new service coordinator, production coordinator position. And a lot of you've been thinking about how to get involved and do stuff at East Bay, and mostly what happens around here is you just get recruited to do something that you've never done and somebody thinks that you would be great at. Bliss, will you please stand so that we can all acknowledge you? Bliss has taken on the job of herding cats at East Bay and has done it with such patience and grace, in addition to all that she already does at East Bay as a practitioner and as a part of the Women's Empowerment Collective. So I just wanted to say you've done a fantastic job dealing with all these personalities and timelines and last-minute changes. Her lovely clipboard has like 5,000 scribbles on it from the things I changed just today. So we love you, and we appreciate you, and we thank God for you. And I was interrupting something the parking lot. That's what you were going to say. Okay. The parking lot across the street is turning into a pickleball program. So unfortunately, last Sunday, thank goodness, we'll be here, have the parking lot for Men's Sunday, because I just want y'all to know a lot of men are coming to East Bay from around the city. It's going to be fantastic. It's supposed to be my Sunday off, but I might sneak in here. Don't ask me no questions when I come. But we're going to be packed next Sunday, and that will be our last Sunday with the parking lot, because they're going to be having pickleball 7 days a week, I guess, now. So just pray for a new solution.
And, the way y'all keep showing up and growing up, we might need a whole new building. So I love you, and I thank God for you. New folks, I will meet you in the bookstore. We have a free book for you. If you're here for the first time, there's a free book for you in the bookstore, and I'll meet you back there. Thank you. And we're going to call for prayer. Do we need to? Are you doing that? You are? Okay, good. I'm done. I'm going.
So we have a tradition here at East Bay Church not to go home with a problem. If there are practitioners available for prayer, please come down to this area. And if you need prayer prior to leaving here, family, please reach out to one of these practitioners. And also, if you are calling in love streamers, there is a link available for you, and there are practitioners waiting for you there. Let us all stand as we close this service with gratitude and thanksgiving for being together with family and friends, knowing that we are never separated from one another, that we are guided, guarded, and protected, that we go from this place knowing that God is the only power in my life, that there is no other power than that. I release this word as we are blessed, guided, guarded, and protected, and let us anchor this by saying, and so it is, and so we are, and so I am.